We're out here having a look at my goji berry bush. I did a little video not long ago where I showed some of the plants that are sitting on my patio for the first time, and one of them was this goji berry bush, and I mentioned that I took some cuttings last year that did really well. I took 3 little cuttings back in October and overwintered them in an unheated greenhouse, and they all took and are growing really well this year. I gave them to someone else, but they are telling me that the plants are still doing well. So I thought I'd take a few more cuttings because I think that I haven't had any fruits or any berries off these bushes here, this bush. So I thought if I plant it somewhere else, I could try and see, maybe it's the soil conditions, I don't know, maybe it's something, maybe they don't like being pot bound, and I could find a little spot to put them. I'll have to keep an eye on them because I've been told, or have read, that they can spread quite quickly with underground runners, and they can really become a bit of a problem if you don't keep an eye on them. But I'll keep an eye on them anyhow and see how they do. And I'll just take a few cuttings now and get them potted up, and we'll see how they do and how quickly they root as well. I've got a few here. I'll just trim them and get them ready to go into my pot. So you can see I've really taken off most of the foliage now and got them sucking up some water. The really nice thing about goji berries is that even if they don't produce berries, the leaves are also edible and full of nutrition, so you can just pick them and add them to a salad. They're a bit bitter, but I do like to add them anyhow just for their nutritional value, and I just cut them up a bit small so you don't really taste the bitterness. So I've got loads here for today's salad. Look at that. So I'll just take each of these cuttings along with my rooting powder and just coat it in that rooting powder. See, nice thick coating. And I've already got my pot here. It's a really deep pot so that it can really grow lots of roots. And I actually took really long cuttings because that will enable them just to get as many roots as possible quickly. And I've got some pre-made holes in there. And I'll just put the stick down quite far down, the cutting quite far down, and then cover it up. And that's the first cutting done. And just do the same thing with all 6 cuttings. So there they are, all potted up. I'm going to keep them in a little shaded spot now so they can just work on having some roots and not get too hot in the sun, and keep them well watered so that they don't lose too much moisture. That's also why we get rid of some of the leaves, because otherwise lots of the moisture gets lost through the leaves themselves. But we do want to leave a few leaves there for photosynthesis. So in a few months I'll come back and have a look at the roots before we put them away for winter. I think I'll overwinter them in the greenhouse too, because that will just protect them from cold winds and things the first year while they're still a bit tender and young. But we'll soon know if they all take. It's nice to get a few extra ones. They always say to take more cuttings than you want because you might not always get 100% success rate. I did last year. I took 3 cuttings and all 3 survived. So I think they're quite good at taking from cuttings, at growing from cuttings. But let's see what happens. We're back. It's August now. It's been about 5 weeks since I took these little cuttings and potted them up into this pot here. I left them in the sort of shaded position they were in under the hibiscus tree, and they got lots of rainwater. It rained a lot, so they got lots of rain and sort of stayed quite nice and moist down there. And all the little foliage, the leaves I left on them, dropped off initially, and then the little tiny cuttings just shot out loads of beautiful, lush, really vibrant green foliage here. So they're still alive and thriving. I can't check their roots yet. I'm not going to disturb them, but I assume that, I mean, they're alive, so I assume the roots are hopefully also growing down there. I'll leave them in this pot now as I was planning until about October, and then I'll repot them and put them somewhere else. It'll be really interesting to see if putting them somewhere else will make them fruit better, or if the mother plant, which is over here, will fruit next year as well. Who knows? It's time will tell. But it's a really nice way just to sort of maximize the potential of these plants, hopefully, and just encourage them to fruit if they can by putting them somewhere else that might be a bit more sunny and a bit more warm. I don't know. I mean, the place I have them in is really sunny and warm. It's my best position, really. So I'm not sure. Maybe they will be better off out of that pot and in the ground. So we'll try to put these in the ground and see how that goes. But it's just, it shows if you do know anyone who has a goji berry plant, or if you have one and you want to make more plants, they are really easy to grow from cuttings. So we're back again. It's a rainy October day, and I thought it was time to get them out. All the little cuttings, check out their roots, and get them into the ground, because we're starting to see some real drastic temperature drops. It's going to get really cold. So let's have a look and see what we've got to deal with. Look at that, we have 100% success rate. There's some beautiful little root systems going here. Look at that, really gorgeous. There's also some worms working around in the pot itself and some little wood lice. But this is so good. So I'm going to go and dig a little hole and get them planted up. I have to do everything with my left hand because my right hand is injured, so this is not the easiest of tasks. Even this little guy, he lost all his foliage, I think because it's getting colder now, but he's still got this little root system there. He'll be fine. I'm going to plant them quite close to each other, just try to make a bit of a thicket, a goji berry thicket. Let me get them going. In the end, I thought I would actually keep the 3 weakest ones, repot them, and keep them in a sort of warm, protected spot over winter. Because then I could give them to someone. I don't really need to have this many planted all together. They do spread so much with underground runners, all that kind of thing, so getting just one in the ground would be sufficient. But I'm going to get 3 of them in the ground all together. So I'll put these 3 back as they were. With a bit more extra soil, a bit of food in there as well. Put some fish blood and bone in there. And I am going to keep them in the greenhouse, which is an unheated greenhouse, but it's a warm, well, it's not warm, it's a protected from wind spot. That's very important. No cold winds driving at it, and they should be fine there. They're super hardy anyhow, so shouldn't be any problem at all with them. I'm just digging myself a little trench right along here, and look at some of these worms, how enormous they are. Look at that one. He's so big. Let's see how big he is. Hello. I do like worms because I now have a worm farm, so I have my little pet worms in the house. That one is huge. Are you okay? Look, he's actually inside. Oh my goodness, he's inside of like a piece of grass. Hello. Can you come out? Whoa, what's he doing? Look how long he is. Let's see if we can get him out. Hello, darling. Can you come out of there? What are you doing? How long are you? What are you? You're like enormous. He's inside. Can you see that? He's inside. Look at that. A piece of straw or something. Wow. He doesn't want to come out. Can you come out? Don't go back in. Come out. I want to see you. Wow. That is an enormous worm. So enormous. I can't believe he's that long. Well, I'll just leave him. I'm not going to bother him anymore. Poor little thing. What a big worm. My kids have a book called Super Worm. I think he is definitely a super worm. Let me carry on digging a bit more. A bit of a trench there, and I'm going to just add some fish blood and bone. I haven't got much left. I must get some more soon. And then just pop the little plants in. Not too close to each other, but actually quite close. It'll be fine. And then refill it. I'll get some compost and refill it with that. Okay, so there we go. I've got them in a little triangle. One's here, one's here. It's hard to tell because there's so much ivy. I need to do some weeding at some point when my other hand heals. And then there's this guy here. And Mr. Worm, who's still living inside this stick. So weird. Look, there's the stick. I won't bother him anymore. I think he's okay. But, very funny. So anyhow, so there they all are. 3 of them, and the other 3 will be kept in the greenhouse, as I said. So really nice to see them doing so well. Seems to be such an easy thing to propagate. I mean, 100% success rate both times I've tried it, and looking really good. So if you do have anyone you know that has a goji berry bush and you'd like to have some yourself, you know how easy it is to do it. Hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know what you think about it. If you're growing goji berries, how long it took for you. I'd love to know how long it took for you to actually get berries, because as I said, this is my second year having this and I haven't had any berries yet. So I'm hoping that maybe this spot is better. Either way, there's lots of, there's more opportunities for this spot to be a good one, and the other one might be okay as well. Who knows? It's just nice to try and spread the plants around a little bit, I think. Make the most of them. But do let me know what your experiences is, and if you are having success growing your beautiful goji berries. They're such a fun thing to grow, a wonderful super berry. But I'll see you next time. I really want to get some of these. Look at this. This is really lovely, what are they called? Buttercups. Creeping buttercups. They do really spread a lot, so I'd like to get rid of some of them. But I will see you next time. Bye for now.